Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Real Tea, where we truly educate yes, even you too. I am your girl, Contrice from the Tea with the Tea, coming to you each and every Tuesday, Central Standard Time, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have that good game for your brain, and I'm so glad that you decided to join us on tonight. Now, not only do we have the tea, but we also brought that comfort and laughter tonight for your soul. The Real Tea is presenting the Eli Experience, the man with the comical plan to bring laughter into the lives of many. Right here and right now, you are entering the Eli Experience. So, you guys, get ready, get set. We're coming into your homes, your cars, wherever you are tonight. We have something in store for you. Now, I need everybody under the sound of my voice just to do one thing, and that's to give us your undivided attention, because my guest tonight, he came to spill the tea. So be careful. And while we're here to soak it all up. Now, remember, sharing, it's caring. Now, if you're viewing the broadcast through the Facebook Realty page, please like and share and follow. And if you're viewing it through the Realty YouTube channel, just like, share, and subscribe. That's simple. And each time the Real Tea begins to brew more tea, you will receive the notification that you can join who? Yes, your girl, me, Contrice, for tea on Tuesday, today, or any day on the replay. And now for our featured tea of the week. And yes, I'm talking about the tea that you drink. Now, it's Guyabano tea. Now, Guyabano leaves is made from a Guyabano leaves extract. Guyabano itself, it's a fruit of graviola tree. It's native in Latin America and Caribbean. It's generally grown in warm tropical areas, such as like the Philippines or Indonesia. It's known for its medicinal properties. Yes, medicinal, medicine. It does things. And every part from the tree's bark, the leaves is often used to cure illnesses. Yes. Now, Guyabano leaves is also known by other names like sour sop. Some of the goodness in Guyabano leaves are they have vitamin C, riboflavin, phosphorus, thiamine, calcium, carbohydrates. Man, must we go on? This tea is awesome. And there are so many good health benefits. Now, it is said that it's anti-cancerous, prevents back pain, boosts immune systems, rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatoid or rheumatism, prevents migraines, prevents amnesia. Not amnesia, I'm sorry, anemia. It's full of magnesium. I gotta put the two words together. But nonetheless, strengthens bones and also boosts the immune system. Now, Guyabano tea, it can be found in Walmart. That's where I found mine. You guys know that's my favorite store. So please visit for more information, teamiblends.com, TEAMI blends.com, you guys. And that's where you can find the information about the tea. And if you don't know how to spell it, I'll put it up there for you. It's Teamy Blends, TEAMIBLENDS.com. And that's where you will find everything that you need to know about Guyabano tea. And it's really, really good. And of course, you guys know, you already know, right? Yes, the real tea is not a joke. We drink tea. Yes. And now we're going to hear from our feature, take a glimpse rather, at our feature business of the week. Now, if you're looking to have your business featured on our show, please email Join Treats for Tea at gmail.com. Please include the name of your business, pictures, anything that's associated with your business, and we will definitely get you right on the show as well. The Real Tea loves to support our businesses. And so, without further ado, the business for the week is Nikki's Boutique, you guys, and you're going to love this because I absolutely loves her commercial. This is Nikki's Boutique. Stay tuned. Yay, yay, yay. I love Nikki's Boutique. Well, you guys, the moment we've all been waiting for. Our guest tonight, he is a master at storytelling while bringing humor at the same time. His shows take the approach to that of ordinary people. Not one subject that you can think of will our guest not have a hilarious story leading to the punchline and puts a smile right where it belongs on your face. You guys, give a warm tea time welcome to the Real Tea platform, Mr. Shaun Eli. You guys. Oh, I can't hear you. No. Let's see. Are we? Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know. Let's see. I know it's not me. Can you hear me? You can okay. All right, great. So you can hear me. And did you give the permission for your microphone when you logged in?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I hope this gets edited out.
That's okay. It happens. It happens. It's
It's
okay.
so
How are
weird.
you?
Okay, it's so weird. I have two microphones and it picked the wrong one and wasn't working. But
That's okay. We're not going to worry about that. That's okay. At first, I was saying, well, maybe it's my sound. Let me check it out. But that's all right. That's okay. You're here. You're here. And thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you for coming to the Real TM tonight. I'm telling you, I usually don't just jump right into my interviews. I always ask ahead of time. So I want you to introduce yourself to my viewers. Tell us who you are.
all right, well, I can tell you a short story.
Good.
I was when I first started in comedy, I was at a networking event, and it was at the Princeton Club, and the guy running it asked us to give a brief description of what we did, and it was all these fancy people with long explanations, and one of these people you can't they talk for 5 minutes and you still have no clue what they do. And I said, my job speaks for itself. I'm a stand-up comedian. And he was like, oh, but we need to know the function and the where it fits in society, and all these really friggin' stupid questions. So I just said, it's my job to make you forget how much you hate your job.
Oh,
I think that is the best explanation of what I do. I stand on a box and talk into a stick and make people laugh.
oh my goodness. Yes. And laughter, we truly do need it. We truly do. Now tell me this. How do you write a joke? How do you write it?
I half of the time really it comes to me in my sleep. I just
Mm.
wake up and something's stirring in my brain. And I get up and write it down, and a lot of times it's stupid, but sometimes it just occurs to me and it works. But another thing is stand-up comedy is really all about misdirection and surprise.
Okay.
So you think I'm going this way and then I go that way. Or you take
Right.
or you take two things that don't fit and put them together. And I give you an example. One of my jokes, I was talking to my friend Michelle during the pandemic, and she said she was cutting her own hair. And I said, isn't that difficult? And she said, cutting hair isn't brain surgery. And I said, it is if you're really, really bad at it.
Right. It is.
Because I thought of her cutting her hair, and what if she cuts into her head? Then it's brain surgery.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because that's definitely what's under the hair. So now tell me this. What's the difference between performing in the US and performing overseas? Like, what's the difference?
The first country I performed overseas was South Africa, and I
Mm.
thought there's three comedy clubs there, and I performed in all of them, and I thought won't be a problem. Western country, they speak English, culture's similar, and I was way wrong because
Oh.
I wrote to the booker and because my jokes I thought are universal. And I wrote to the booker and I said, the only thing I could think of that might be a problem is I have a Craigslist reference. And she said, no problem. We have Craigslist here. Turns out they have it, but they don't use it. They use a different website for that.
Mm.
So the first night, the joke didn't do well, and a comedian took me aside and said, we don't use Craigslist, say Gumtree. And that's the website they use. But there's cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I have a story about, and I'm sure you've gotten these, an occasional obnoxious Christmas letter from a neighbor or friend that's just all bragging.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a joke that makes fun of that by overly exaggerating. And they're like, nobody here sends those letters. And I realize it's not a bragging culture.
Right.
So to them, the concept of somebody writing a letter bragging just didn't make sense to them.
Okay. So the difference is basically just the cultures. The cultures are altogether different. I mean, I think, and I just couldn't imagine, like, I think that's what keeps me from traveling to another country. I'm so afraid of what it would be like or how I would be accepted in another country. But I must say that I have a lot of supporters from other countries like Gambia and things of that nature. And it's so amazing to me because they really, really, really are like so super interested in what goes on over here actually. So yeah, I bet it is a huge difference when you're telling jokes overseas. So
Look,
wow. Well,
if you want to travel and you're worried about cultural differences, start easy, go to Canada, and if that works, you can go to Texas.
Okay.
And then
I've been to Texas. Texas is different.
Yeah.
Everything's huge in Texas. We went to Texas. I went to Houston, Texas, and there was a restaurant and we went to get hamburgers. I mean, I never saw a hamburger so huge before in my life. I'm thinking, this is a heart attack burger. Like, I'm not going to eat that. That's just way too much.
But you know what? When foreigners come to America, they think everything here is gigantic. Not just in Texas. Like to them, the pasta portion you get that's this big, and they think that's just insane.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you go to the restaurant that gives you pasta to go home as well. Just like, fatten me up, why don't you? Yes. So, now, what do you think of comedy classes? You
I
think
am for them, and comics get into an argument all the time, and they say, "Oh, you can't teach people to be funny," and I'm like, "You can't teach people to be great at something, but you can make them better." Because actors, when they're not even well-trained professional actors with a lot of experience, when they're not acting, they're taking acting classes. And Tiger Woods works with a coach, even though he's Tiger Woods. So why do people? I don't know why people think comedy is any different. And if you can't teach somebody to be funny, you can at least teach them techniques to be better joke writers. You can teach them, how to use a microphone. And I say at least you can teach them some of the first mistakes they're going to make over the first 6 months. You can teach them not to make those mistakes. And I'll give you the stupidest one.
Okay.
This happens to every comedian. I don't have a microphone with me that I can show you, but when the microphone is in the mic stand, and sometimes you go to pull it out, and the previous comic really shoved it in there, and you're pulling and pulling and pulling to get the mic out of the stand, and it doesn't come out gradually. It suddenly breaks free, and if you're pulling like this, bam, you hit yourself in the head with it. So a good teacher will say, okay, we're learning to use a microphone. Here's what you do. If that happens, turn it sideways, so it doesn't hit you in the face.
Right. Good. That's a good point. I never thought of that, but that is so true.
That's worth $100 right there.
It is. You need to think of teaching. Would you teach at the comedy class?
I've done a little teaching here and there, but I've worked with other teachers, but I'm not sure I want to teach comedy as a job. I'm perfectly happy being on stage, being the comedian. It's like when I started comedy, everybody's like, you have a business background and you got to open a comedy club. And like, if I wanted to open a comedy club, I'd open a comedy club.
Okay. Comedy club is good though. I think it would be a wonderful thing. I watched I watched a few of your of course, I watched them.
Thanks.
And I was watching when you were talking about the iPhone and the J phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the J phone? What is it? Tell me.
Well, I don't know. You've kind of stepped on my punchline, but I was explaining. I was saying I talked about this in my act about my parents, and I say we're Jewish, and I gave my parents iPhones, and they said we like them, but they're just not Jewish enough. So working with a team of Israeli engineers, we invented a Jewish phone, the J phone.
Oh.
And the J phone has some great features you won't find in the iPhone. The J phone will call your mother every single day, whether you want to or not.
Okay.
And that video is on my website, so you can.
Yes,
you can see
yes,
it.
I did. I enjoyed your comedy. It's clean. I like it because it's clean. That'd be my problem. I mean, not a problem. I mean, I just prefer clean things. I prefer clean comedy, so I like it.
Well, that's actually one of the things they taught me in the comedy class. The instructor said, if you can be a clean comedian, absolutely do it, because there's so many opportunities you will lose if you're a dirty comic.
This is true.
Like I do shows, my theater shows don't really have to be clean, but they tend to have older audiences that don't appreciate a lot of vulgarity. And I do shows at houses of worship, and you can't go onto the pulpit and start cursing or talking about sex. So those shows wouldn't be around. I couldn't do those shows if I were a dirty comic.
Right.
Most comics, I would say probably 80 or 90% of comics couldn't do 45 clean minutes.
Right. You're true. I believe that because I watched them. And I mean, I'm going back all the way to like Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor couldn't have never performed in a church. That just wouldn't happen. No way, no how. And you're absolutely correct. It does limit the places that you can go. It limits the opportunities, and things of that nature. So that's a really good, it's a good theory that you have, and it's a good, I like it because I could show your comedy to my grandchildren if I wanted to, because there's no cursing in the, and the jokes are very, very clean. So that's cool.
Well, if you have grandchildren, they're probably way too young to appreciate it anyway.
I got a grandson. I have 13 grandchildren. And the oldest is 14. So
okay, so 14 works.
Yeah, 14 to work. He'll do it because he's more mature. The kids don't you think the kids today are a little different than when we were coming up? Like yeah.
But you know what the issue is? People ask me, well, I'm doing a show, and they'll say, could I bring my kids? And I say, well, here's the thing. Clean doesn't mean the kids will appreciate it. If you think if a boy, is 9 and still thinks girls are yucky, he doesn't want to hear jokes about dating.
True.
So it's not right for them. It's not bad. They just won't enjoy it, and they'll be bored and disruptive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess we'll wait. We'll wait on bringing him. We'll wait. Now, are you as also funny off the stage as you are on the stage to other people? I'm gonna say you are to me, but
thanks. Sometimes when I'm comfortable, yes. When I'm not comfortable, sometimes I get worse because I try to be funny. Because the hardest thing about being a comedian, I think, is when I tell people what I do for a living and they say, "A comedian, are you serious?" And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that question because my job is the opposite of serious. But I'm being serious answering your question. So it's tough to figure that out. But people expect me to be funny all the time. And I could have a 20-minute conversation with somebody and be like, he wasn't funny. Like, if you were talking to a musician, they wouldn't burst out singing in the middle of the conversation.
Right. You are. That is so true. That's true. And I guess people, because you are a comedian, then we do look for that from you, all the time. As a young girl, me coming up, I sing. And so my stepfather is a preacher, and every time I went to church, it was just blow me that he'd get in the microphone and say, "Oh, well, thank you. And Kentrice is here today. My daughter is here. Come on, bless us with a song." And I just came in because I want to hear the service. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know what you mean, to be able to separate the two sometimes.
Yeah. Dad, if you want me to sing in church, you're going to have to pay me.
Right. Because these free songs are not working.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, I saw that you went from working on Wall Street to comedy. How was that transition? How did you
The best thing I ever did.
really?
I prefer the word escaped, because I worked for people who weren't appreciative. Like
Mm.
I made a lot of money for the company I worked for, and
Hmm.
they never really appreciated it. And now I go on stage and I get, essentially I get thanked 3, 4 times a minute because every time I tell a joke and hit a punchline, people are laughing. And to me, that's a thank you. But I worked for, ungrateful employers, and it was good to get out of there. Now
Right.
I get paid to make fun of them. So
Yeah.
until they
Yeah.
sue me, I'm going to keep doing that.
Right. Do have to be careful of that. Now, you then founded the Ivy League of Comedy.
Yes.
So, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, what happened was when I started, I was still working in finance when I started doing stand up, because you don't go from, your first day on stage to making a living overnight.
Right.
So colleagues and friends would come to my shows at a comedy club, not my show, but a show at a comedy club. And they would say, well, you were clean, but the other comics in the show weren't clean. And we'd like to bring, clients or other people to the show, but everybody else was dirty. Where can we see a clean show? And I'm like, there aren't any. And then I thought, well, maybe I have to put one together. So and I wanted a fancy sounding, an upscale corporate sounding name for the group. And I called it Ivy League Comedy. And then one day we were doing a show at a theater in DC. And as we drove up, the marquee said, the Ivy League of Comedy. And that looks better. I like that. And immediately changed the company name.
And left it that way. Okay, very good. I think anything that you do, that if you do put your best foot forward in doing it, I always think that it's awesome. It does take it to a whole nother level. And I talked to a young man. I interviewed him, and we talked about name remodification, and it's so true. Like what's in a name, what's in your name may determine how successful whatever you're doing goes, you know. So he was talking about like JayZ, for instance. JayZ name is JayZ. He may not have been as successful had his name been George, you know, or something like
What
that.
is JayZ? I know his name isn't JayZ. What is his name?
I I don't know.
I think he took the name from 2 subway lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. But I can't. I don't even. I just know he's married to Beyonce, and I haven't a clue. I'd have to ask my husband. I don't know what it. That's a good question. We'll find out. I know what his daughter's name is. We know
Okay.
Blue Ivy. We know
Oh,
that.
right.
Yeah, her name is Blue Ivy, and but I really don't know his name. But anyway, they do say that it's definitely what's in the name will determine how far a person may go. Yeah. So one last thing. My shows are short and sweet, and I enjoyed that you came and things of that nature. Just wanted to talk to you briefly, and I don't believe in just meeting someone. I believe that there's a divine intervention where we met one another, and I believe that I'm going to get to meet you in person
Well,
soon. I can't
you book me for a show. I'll come out
I
there.
will. I will. I will show up at one of your shows.
All
And
right.
don't act like you don't know me either. No, I'm joking. I get to the show like I don't know her. No. But yeah, I would definitely do that. I would. I enjoy the jokes that you tell, and know that I'm gonna get some good, clean fun out of this. But tell my viewers where they can find you and how they can book you.
It's right down there. My website is brainshampagne.com. And I wanted this talking about names. I thought if my URL, my website were my first and Eli's my middle name, if I
Mhm.
did that, people would never spell it right and they'd never find me. And I wanted something memorable. And I thought Brain
Okay.
Champagne rhymes and people remember it. So you go
Yeah.
to my website, you can watch videos, you can contact me through there, you can
Mhm.
read bio testimonials, you can read 50,000 words worth of jokes I've written. And
Yes.
that's a lot of jokes.
It is. That is a whole lot of jokes, and that's a whole lot of work and everything. And we definitely appreciate comics like you that are clean and wholesome. And so that's what I get from you. I get that clean, wholesome thing, going. So I do appreciate you, and I thank you so much for coming. And you can stick around. I do the final sip of tea, you guys. This was Shaun Eli. If you're looking for a good, clean comic, please contact him. He's very good. He's very good. You guys will enjoy him.
Thank
And
you.
now,
Fun being
yes, yes. And now for our final sip of tea. Now, they say laughter is good for the soul. And smiling, it uses less muscles in your face than, of course, a frown. It's what families look forward to when they gather, and how you know a baby is happy, whether they can talk or not. Let's face it, laughter is as important as water or air. Our guest tonight, he showed us many important aspects to his theory. So the next time something makes you sad, look up our friend. He's sure to lighten the mode with a good story to tell and make you laugh. Just remember, the Eli Experience teaches us to live, love, and laugh. God bless you guys. And thank you so much for joining us tonight on The Real Tea. Bye bye, you guys.